A billionaire adopts 5 children and the internet destroys him for it. But when he opens an old folder in his office late one night, he discovers something that makes his blood run cold. This is a story about guilt, redemption, and 5 children who hold the power to forgive the unforgivable. Xavier Dunn sat at the head of the long marble table and watched 5 pairs of eyes stare back at him. The chandelier above buzzed softly. His fingers drummed against the cold surface. The kids hadn't touched their food yet. Neither had he. "You can eat," he said. His voice came out rougher than he meant. The oldest girl, Maya, 14 years old with her hair pulled back tight, picked up her fork. The others followed. The sound of silverware scraping plates filled the massive dining room. Xavier's chef had made chicken and mashed potatoes. Simple. The social worker said not to overwhelm them with fancy food on the first night. "Mr. Dunn," the smallest one spoke up. His name was Marcus. He was 6. His SpongeBob shirt had a stain on it. "You can call me Xavier." Marcus nodded but didn't say anything else. He pushed peas around his plate. Xavier pulled out his phone. "Bad idea." The screen lit up with notifications. Hundreds of them. His PR manager had been calling all day. He swiped through Twitter, or X, or whatever they called it now in 2025. The posts made his jaw tight. Billionaire adoption stunt. This man collected kids like Pokemon cards. Xavier Dunn adopted 5 random kids for tax write-offs. Make it make sense. Why 5 different races? This man literally went shopping. Disgusting. One video had 7 million views. Some podcaster with face tattoos laughing into a microphone. This dude adopted a whole United Nations. One black kid wasn't enough. He needed the complete set. The comments were worse. Xavier locked his phone and set it face down. His hand shook slightly. He pressed it flat against the table. "Everything okay?" That was Jordan, 12 years old, the one with the science book he carried everywhere. "Fine." Xavier forced a smile. "How's the food?" "It's good," Maya said quietly. She was watching him. Smart kid. Too smart. She saw right through him. The twin girls, Sophia and Carmen, 9 years old, whispered to each other in Spanish. They'd barely spoken English since they arrived this morning. The adoption agency said they'd warm up eventually. Right now they looked at him like he was a stranger. Which he was. Xavier stood up. His chair scraped loud against the floor. "I need to make a call. Keep eating. There's ice cream after." He walked fast through the hallway. His shoes clicked against the hardwood. The house was too big. 23 rooms. He'd bought it 5 years ago after his company went public. Dunn Industries. Manufacturing. Factories across the Midwest. He had more money than he could spend in 3 lifetimes. His office door closed with a heavy thunk. Xavier leaned against it and let out a long breath. The city lights of Chicago blinked through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Lake Michigan stretched out black and endless. His phone vibrated. Another text from his PR manager, Shanice. "Xavier, we need to get ahead of this. Morning show interview, podcast, something. They're killing you out here." He didn't respond. Instead, he walked to his desk and opened his laptop. The blue light made his eyes hurt. His inbox had 847 unread emails. He scrolled past them all. What was he looking for? He didn't know exactly. Just something. Anything to make sense of why this felt right, even when everyone said it was wrong. Xavier had never wanted kids. His ex-wife used to bring it up during their marriage. He'd always said no. Work was enough. Building the company was enough. Then she left him 2 years ago. Married some tech guy in San Francisco. He got the house and the loneliness. 6 months ago something changed. He'd been driving past a group home on the south side. Saw kids playing basketball through a chain-link fence. Something in his chest cracked open. He couldn't explain it. The feeling didn't go away. 3 months of paperwork. Background checks. Home visits. Interviews. The agency kept asking why he wanted to adopt. He didn't have a good answer. Just that he had space. He had money. These kids needed someone. They gave him files. Dozens of them. Kids who'd been in the system for years. He read every single one. Maya, parents died in 2019. Car accident, the file said. No other family. Jordan, mother overdosed. Father unknown. Been in 4 different homes. Marcus, found alone in an apartment when he was 3. Mom never came back. Sophia and Carmen, parents dead. The file didn't say how. Just listed them as orphans from Texas. Xavier chose all 5. The agency worker looked at him like he was crazy. Mr. Dunn, most people start with 1. I'm not most people. Now they were here. In his house. At his table. And the whole world thought he was a joke. Xavier opened his desk drawer. He needed a drink. His hand touched something else instead. A folder. Old. The edges worn soft. He pulled it out. The label read, Factory Incident Reports 2019. His heart started beating faster. He didn't remember putting this here. His assistant must have filed it during an office cleanup. Xavier opened it slowly. The first page showed a date, March 15, 2019. A black and white photo of a building. Smoke. Fire trucks. Police tape. His factory in Gary, Indiana. Xavier's hands went cold. He turned the page. A list of names. 7 employees. Dead. His eyes scanned down. Stopped. Teresa Washington. He knew that name. He grabbed his phone and pulled up Maya's file with shaking fingers. Scrolled to the parent information. Mother, Teresa Washington. Deceased 2019. The folder slipped from his hands. Papers scattered across the floor. Xavier dropped to his knees and grabbed another sheet. More names. More faces. David Chen. Jordan's file. Father, David Chen. Deceased 2019. Nicole Harris. Marcus's mother. Roberto and Ana Flores. The twins' parents. All of them. Every single one. His employees. His factory. His accident. Xavier's vision blurred. The room tilted sideways. He pressed his forehead against the cold floor and tried to breathe. From down the hall he heard Marcus laughing. One of the twins said something. Maya told them to quiet down. They didn't know. They didn't know they were living in the house of the man whose company killed their parents. If this story is hitting you right in the heart, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more powerful, emotional stories like this one. Now, let's see what Xavier does when the truth finally comes out. Xavier couldn't move. The papers covered the floor around him like snow. White sheets with black words that burned worse than any fire. His phone was still in his hand. The screen showed Maya's face from her adoption file. Smiling. She had her mother's eyes. He'd never met Teresa Washington. Never knew her name until right now. But 6 years ago she clocked into his factory and never came home. Xavier forced himself up. His legs felt weak. He gathered the papers with shaking hands and spread them across his desk. The full report. Pages he'd never read. His lawyers handled everything back then. Settlements. NDAs. Make it go away quietly. March 15, 2019. Gary, Indiana. Dunn Industries Factory 7. Electrical fire in the manufacturing wing. Started at 2:47 a.m. during the night shift. Faulty wiring in Section C. 7 workers trapped. The emergency exits were blocked. By what? Xavier's eyes scanned faster. Storage crates. His company had stacked supply crates in front of the emergency doors to save floor space. They couldn't get out. The fire department arrived in 12 minutes. Too late. 7 body bags. 7 families destroyed. 7 funerals his company paid for while his lawyers made everyone sign papers promising not to talk. Xavier opened his laptop and typed with fingers that wouldn't stop shaking. Gary Factory Fire 2019. Only 3 news articles came up. Small local papers. Nothing major. His PR team had done their job, kept it quiet, paid the right people, controlled the story. One article had photos. He clicked. Workers outside the factory, crying, holding each other, yellow police tape, news vans, and standing off to the side in a dark suit, Xavier himself. He remembered that day now, flying in on his private jet, spending 45 minutes on site, making a statement about thoughts and prayers and thorough investigations, then flying back to Chicago for a dinner meeting. He'd thought about those workers for maybe a week. Then the lawyers said everything was handled. The factory reopened 2 months later with new wiring and cleared emergency exits. Business continued. Xavier pulled out his phone and opened each kid's file again. Cross-referenced every detail with the factory reports. Teresa Washington, age 34. Single mother. Worked quality control. Night shift. Her daughter Maya was 8 when she died. Went to live with an aunt who gave her back to the system 2 years later. Too much to handle, the note said. David Chen, age 41. Immigrant from China. Sent money back to family in Shanghai. His son Jordan was 6. No other relatives in America. Became a ward of the state. Nicole Harris, age 28. Worked packaging. Her son Marcus was 3 months old. Father not in the picture. Baby went to foster care immediately. Roberto and Ana Flores, ages 38 and 36. Married. Both worked assembly. Twin daughters Sophia and Carmen were 3 years old. No family in the United States. Children separated for 2 years before an agency reunited them. All 5 kids. All connected to one night. One fire. One company. His company. Xavier's stomach turned. He ran to the private bathroom attached to his office and threw up. The chicken and mashed potatoes he'd barely touched. He gripped the marble sink and stared at himself in the mirror. His eyes were red. His face looked gray. A knock on the office door made him jump. Xavier. Maya's voice. Quiet. Careful. He wiped his mouth and walked back out. Closed the laptop. Tried to straighten the papers, but his hands wouldn't cooperate. Everything fell again. Maya stood in the doorway. She looked at the mess on the floor. At his face. You okay? Yeah. Just work stuff. She didn't believe him. She walked closer and looked down at the papers. Xavier moved to block her view, but she was faster. Her eyes caught on a name. Then another. Her whole body went still. That's my mom. Xavier's throat closed up. He couldn't speak. Maya bent down and picked up a sheet. Her hands started shaking just like his. Teresa Washington. That's my mom. Why do you have papers about my mom? Maya, I can explain. She died in a factory fire. Maya's voice went flat. Dead sounding. The social worker told me. Some factory in Gary. They said it was an accident. Xavier reached for her, but she stepped back. This says Dunn Industries. Maya looked up at him. Her eyes were filling with tears, but her face stayed hard. That's your company. That's your name. I didn't know, Xavier said. His voice cracked. I swear I didn't know. I didn't make the connection until just now. You killed my mom. The words hit like a punch. Maya dropped the paper and ran out of the office. Her footsteps pounded down the hallway. A door slammed somewhere in the house. Xavier stood frozen. His heart hammered against his ribs. He heard voices. Jordan asking what was wrong. The twins crying. Marcus saying he was scared. He'd destroyed these children twice. Once when his company's negligence killed their parents. And again tonight when they found out the truth. Xavier walked down the hallway like a zombie. His feet moved, but he didn't feel them. The living room was chaos. Maya was on the couch with her face buried in her hands. Jordan stood nearby holding his science book against his chest like a shield. The twins huddled together. Marcus had tears running down his face. What's happening? Jordan asked. His voice was too high. Panicked. Xavier sat down on the coffee table. Faced all of them. He could lie. He could say it was a misunderstanding. Send Maya to therapy. Pretend nothing happened. Keep the secret. But he was tired of secrets. "I need to tell you something," Xavier said. His voice came out rough and broken. "And it's going to hurt. But you deserve the truth." He told them everything. The factory. The fire. The faulty wiring and blocked exits. The 7 workers who died. Their parents' names. How his company paid to make the story disappear. How he'd never connected any of it until tonight. How he'd failed them before they even met him. Jordan dropped his book. Sophia started crying harder. Carmen held her. Marcus climbed into Maya's lap even though she wasn't moving. "I didn't adopt you as some stunt," Xavier said. Tears ran down his face now too. He didn't wipe them away. "I didn't know who you were. I just saw kids who needed a home. But that doesn't make any of this okay. My company killed your parents. My negligence. My failure to make sure that factory was safe. I can't undo that. I can't bring them back." The room was so quiet he could hear the clock ticking on the wall. "I understand if you hate me," Xavier continued. "I understand if you want to leave. I'll call the agency tomorrow. Get you placed somewhere else. Somewhere better. With people who didn't destroy your lives." Maya finally looked up. Her face was wet with tears, but her eyes were sharp. "You really didn't know?" "No. I swear on everything. I didn't know. But you know now." "Yes. So what are you going to do about it?" Xavier had no answer ready. He'd expected screaming. Rage. Not this question. "I don't know," he admitted. "Tell me what you need. Tell me how to fix this." "You can't fix it," Maya said quietly. "They're dead. But you can do something." Jordan spoke up. His voice was shaky but strong. "Make sure it doesn't happen again. To other people's parents." Xavier nodded slowly. "Okay. Yes. I can do that. And take care of us," Marcus whispered. "Like you promised." Xavier looked at each of them. These 5 kids who had every right to destroy him. To hate him. To walk away. Instead they were asking him to be better. "I will," Xavier said. "I promise you. I'll spend every day for the rest of my life making this right. Every dollar. Every breath. I'll make sure your parents didn't die for nothing." Maya stood up slowly. Marcus clung to her waist. She walked over to Xavier and looked down at him. For a long moment she just stared. Then she did something he didn't expect. She put her hand on his shoulder. "My mom used to say everyone deserves a second chance," Maya said softly. "Even when they don't deserve it. So this is yours. Don't waste it." Xavier broke down. Completely. 6 years of guilt and grief and running from responsibility came pouring out. He sobbed into his hands while 5 orphaned children stood around him. Not orphans because of bad luck or fate. Orphans because he'd chosen profit over safety. Carmen walked over and hugged him. Then Sophia. Then Jordan. Then Marcus. Finally Maya. All 5 of them holding the man whose company destroyed their families. And in that moment Xavier understood what he had to do. The next morning he called an emergency board meeting. Announced mandatory safety overhauls for every Dunn Industries facility. Established a $50 million fund for factory worker families. Hired independent safety inspectors. Started a foundation in the names of the 7 workers who died. The media that mocked him went silent. Then the story came out. Not from Xavier but from Maya. She wrote it herself and posted it online. It went viral in 6 hours. "The man who adopted us is the reason we needed adoption. And he's spending the rest of his life making it right. That's what real change looks like." Xavier never hid from it. Did interviews. Took the criticism. Let people call him every name. Accepted that some would never forgive him. But every night he came home to 5 kids who were healing. Who were laughing more. Who called him dad sometimes when they forgot to be mad. It wasn't redemption. Not really. You couldn't redeem something like this. But it was purpose. It was showing up every day. It was 5 kids who taught him that love wasn't about deserving it. It was about choosing it even when it hurt. Especially when it hurt. Thank you so much for watching this emotional journey with us. If this story moved you, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our next powerful tale. Drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Are you in the US, UK, Canada, Nigeria, or somewhere else? We love hearing from our global family. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story about redemption and second chances, share this video with them. See you in the next one.